r/askreddit. How does someone politely end a conversation with a person who won't stop talking?
I'm an Uber driver. I was once summoned to pick up two people for just this reason. They had me drive 4 blocks / 25 miles / 1.5 miles / 1.5 minutes to another bar just to get out of a conversation with someone. Minimum fare, $3.75, and $10 tip on the app.
I read one of those mildly interesting newspaper features recently with an etiquette expert. Their advice was, rather than make an excuse, you should be more direct that you are ending the conversation and say something like, "I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm going to circulate around the room now, as it's less likely to create an expectation you might come back." It does work too.
Oh, cool. The FS ever said they are going to circulate around the room.
Etiquette experts.
Worst case I've ever had. I basically gave every verbal cue I knew of, eventually stood up, then stood in the doorway, then backed out of the doorway, then backed out of the doorway. And this dude was still talking. In the end, I just said, "I'll be back," and closed the door on him mid-sentence.
So, did you go back? He's still waiting.
I don't mean to interrupt, but it's got to be done. So just do it. They need a break anyway. And never feel bad that you have to do it, because your time is important too. They don't get to monopolize it.
I have to return some videotapes.
I love American Psycho.
I just re-watched it for the 1000th time earlier today. I opened Netflix and saw it was available to watch, and remembered that I was talking to the woman I've been seeing the other day, and she asked what my favorite movie was. Without any hesitation, I said American Psycho. We're still seeing each other, surprisingly.
Mental health worker here. I see patients every day who will talk forever if you don't stop them. You simply have to interrupt and redirect / or end the conversation. I always politely tell them, "Let me stop you there," or "Let me jump in there." Sometimes you have to be abrupt, or else you will be held hostage by the one-sided conversation.
I know it's dubious to ask advice over Reddit, but is this a sign of declining mental health? I know a handful of people who are very far along in life, and I could tell them I have to go, because my house is burning down, and they have to tell me 2 more stories about how Margaret's house burned down in '65, and she made the best soup and blah blah blah.
Not always. Those who are manic or who have a DHD can talk excessively, or sometimes it's just an anxious response. Some people just talk a lot. I have a good friend who is very down to earth and, as far as I've always been aware, mentally stable, but the girl can talk. Like my eyes will be glazing over, and she will just keep talking. I just think she has so much to say she can't keep it in. Her whole family is the same way.
I used to work on a team with a guy who had Asperger's and some related issues processing social cues. He would get started on a subject and just talk at people for 30 minutes plus without pausing for breath. He didn't get the cues that people were losing interest and would continue indefinitely unless you directly interrupted and told him to stop. He wouldn't be offended and generally appreciated being told he should have stopped. It was almost a rite of passage in the office to endure an extended one-way lecture about his choice of bathroom tiles or the benefits of all-weather road tires over winter tires, etc.
I have mild Asperger's and I experience both ends of this, as extroverts tend to adopt me, which I like. The cues are basically another language which we don't pick up as easily as allistic people. I can sometimes spot the micro-expressions, but it doesn't mean I know what to do with them, so would rather be told to finish up than know I'm making someone feel bored / uncomfortable and not know what to do with it. I have a dear extrovert friend at uni who will talk the hind legs off a donkey. Last time we met, I tried to end the conversation with an arm stretch and, "I'd better go work on my sketchbook." To which she replied, "Oh, can I see your sketchbook? There went another half hour." Her son handles situations like this with, "I'm not being funny, Mum, but can you go now?"
I also have Asperger's, and I don't think I could have said it better. Though somehow I've learned how to interpret a lot of those subtle social cues, and it has helped in my social life quite a bit, but I'm not perfect and never will be. At this point, it's not a hindrance to me. It's a unique part of my personality, and I wouldn't be who I am without it.
Anne was getting a little chummy. When people get too chummy with me, I like to call them by the wrong name to let them know I don't really care. Ron wants it.
I don't know who this Ron Swanson guy is, but I like him. In an unsexual way, of course.
You must be his best friend, then. You guys still never talk sometimes.
Shh. Do you hear that? No, 1 sec, and just run off.
As a parent, this actually happened.
Which one are you?
I'll give the opposite advice. If you think your friends are always thirsty, have weak bladders, or get weird sudden strokes of toe, do lists all the time, you talk too much.
They actually do have a weak bladder.
But I actually do get weird sudden strokes.
Shh, my turn.
This only works if you stroke their face at the same time.
Right. Great. Listen, I got to go wash my crotch. I'll see you later.
I find myself leaning at a 45-degree angle, indicating the direction I'd like to go.
Surgery. I'm late for surgery. Tell them you are having a rather heavy period and must go to the restroom before you bleed all over yourself.
And if you're a guy...
The surgery went well, except this heavy flow. Blood for the blood god, am I right?